Hey YouTube, Beardmaster180 here with my DVD new releases review for the week of March 8th, 2011. So first up this week is Morning Glory. Morning Glory stars Rachel McAdams as Becky, a hard-working TV show producer who is suddenly fired. Desperate for a job, she applies for a producer job for a struggling morning show called Daybreak. Becky gets the jobs, but things are not as easy as she expected, as she fires the co-host and now has to convince news veteran Mike Pomeroy, played by Harrison Ford, to be in the show, and he turns out to be an even bigger handful than she expected. Now going into this, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. The only reason I watched this was for two reasons: Rachel McAdams and Harrison Ford. Rachel McAdams is not only smoking hot, but she's also a great actress. And Harrison Ford is, well, awesome. It's Harrison Ford. Unfortunately, the movie isn't that great. On the plus side, the acting is pretty good, and it's the movie's strongest feature. But that's still not really saying much. And that pretty much covers it for the plus side. Which leads us now into the not-so-plus side. For starters, the movie just isn't that funny. Some parts were, but they are very few and far between. Also, the pacing is really slow. The movie is a reasonable length at about an hour and 40 minutes, but it just feels so long. Like, it felt like almost 2 hours, but it had only been an hour and a half. Plus, the movie doesn't really know if it wants to be a comedy or a drama. I know these days there are a lot of comedy movies that have like a drama part to it, but here it just doesn't seem like it's made up its mind. Overall, Morning Glory is just a simple chick flick. If you're a fan of that, then you're all set, but if you're not a fan of that, stay far away from this. You will not get anything out of it. I give Morning Glory a 2 out of 10 for decent acting and a few funny scenes, but not a lot. Next up this week is The Next 3 Days. The Next 3 Days stars Russell Crowe and Elizabeth Banks as John and Laura Brennan, a regular married couple whose lives are turned upside down when Laura is arrested for murder. Over the next few years, John does everything in his power to prove that his wife is innocent. After Laura attempts suicide, John decides that there's only one thing left to do: break Laura out of prison. And the movie goes from there. Now going into this one, I had high hopes. The movie stars one of my favorite actors, Russell Crowe, and is directed and scripted by Paul Haggis, a great writer-director. And although it has its flaws, The Next 3 Days is a pretty decent movie. So let's start with the good stuff. First off, the acting is great. Russell Crowe shows time and time again that he is a great actor, and once again does not disappoint. Elizabeth Banks also gives a great and believable performance. Also good is the tension that builds up near the end of the movie. It's very intense, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and keeps you guessing. However, like I mentioned earlier, there are still some flaws. For starters, the movie is way too long. A good chunk of this should have been shortened. Also, the ending really starts to drag. I mean, there were about 3 different times where it looked like the movie was over, and then it just kept going. And going. And going. Also, what keeps the movie dragging is, of course, slow pacing. There are only a few thrilling scenes, and most of them are only at the end of the movie. The rest of the movie is just build-up. And I'm not saying I have anything wrong with a movie that's mostly build-up, because it usually pays off, and here it does. But I still think that some of that build-up could have just been completely removed. It didn't need to be there. So, all in all, The Next 3 Days, it's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely worth checking out at least once. I give The Next 3 Days a 7 out of 10. So that's my review of Morning Glory and The Next 3 Days, and the end of another DVD new releases review. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to subscribe for more. This is Beardmaster180 reminding you that this has been my own personal opinion. You are in control of yours. Thanks for watching.